problems in Africa or in Latin. The problem the solution to our problems is ourselves. We have to work in here. We have to try to engage ourselves into working to build our country. You cannot build your country from outside unless you have to work here. Running away to go to Western world will not solve our problems. We have to come together and embark on development in our country. We have a lot of resources that can build our country and make our life better than even going the Western world. There are a lot
is that happening every time when we are struggling with poverty, corruption, and political machinations all over the place? And you're talking about you have resources. Are the citizens really benefiting from the resources that you're talking about?
And that's what I'm just saying. It's corruption, poverty. Poverty is everywhere. Even in America, there are poor people. And even in America, there are corruption. But I do believe we as citizens in these nations, if we embark on developing our country ourselves, taking initiative, become, going to creative activities, we will develop our country. I can tell you that.
Okay. Thank you so much, my brother.
We don't need international support only to develop our country. We ourselves got to embark. Let me tell you, China, in the 90s, China was just like Africa. But see where China is today. Because the Chinese decided to take everything that they have to go back to China and develop their country. If we can do that, we can develop our country. But we don't need to go to America before we develop our Liberia.
Okay. Thank you so much, my brother. Let's move on to another person. The numbers are 0777 777 107 0777 221 223. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Let's hear you.
My name is Sam Scott. I do join this conversation from Moton Corner.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me say thank you for the topics on discussion this morning. It is a sad news that we are hearing about our brothers, family, friends in the United States of America that will be deported back for further document. So what I want to say is if the American government can allow them to properly arrange their document, that would be the best. Thank you this morning.
Oh, well, thanks for your contribution on the program as well. Let's squeeze in two more persons before we join the news from the Voice of America, 5 minutes of news from the VOA. And then subsequently, we're going to speak with our guest via telephone from the U.S., Reverend Tolly Craig. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Good morning, sir. Family, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Mataya, for me, I want to work on our citizens that will be deported back for America. We work on it. But my issue, when you passing around the corner in our very community, listening to our brother and sister, that they really happy for them to deport the people because someone they send somebody people they go, they not say anything for them, they didn't do anything for them. Matter why in this country we all want to take our responsibility and put it on somebody. What happy about that when they send these people back? Because the person not give you falla or when the person or they didn't do anything for you. But as somehow we are not happy. Because now we're going on is difficult. So when the people that coming by here, another brother you coming go on the government. It's all the one and the two from Ghana, the brothers. It's all the thing they pass through. So you want for him to.
And some of them have not even settled down properly yet.
You see that? So now talking about that. I'm sorry for somebody to be happy because they may go there, they may not take but in the country, we got to learn how to take our own responsibility. We should not be taking our responsibility. Point on somebody when the point not do it, but we feel that the police supposed to do about. Of course. So for me, I'm very sad. I want to thank you very much.
Thanks for your contribution, my brother. The last person on this segment of the program. Good morning. Good morning. All right, the numbers are 0777 777 107 0777 221 223. The numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning. Reverend Tolly Craig has a lot to tell us regarding this development. And after we return from the break, 5 minutes of news from the Voice of America, we are certainly going to have a conversation with Reverend Craig where he's going to give us more information regarding this development from the U.S. about 1,000 plus Liberians that risk deportation. Some other countries have 22,000. I think what country? 252,000. That's Mexico. There are 252,000 Mexican, 252,044 Mexican expected to be deported, to their country. So it's an important, development. Sad as it may seem, but you come to realize that no one stays in someone's environment without regularizing your status and doing the right thing. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we are going to be contacting our guest via telephone from the US. I think he's in Massachusetts. I think so. But he's going to tell us which state he's going to be speaking to us from, because sometimes he travels to other states. So Reverend Tolly Kura is the founder of the Universal Human Rights International and also the Free Liberia Movement. My name is Matthias Labindi. You are listening to Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We are here Monday to Thursday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Let's have a conversation after this break. We're going to speak with someone who's going to be telling us more about the situation there in the U.S. We'll be right back.
Tommy McNeil with your worldwide news update. A jet carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members collided with an Army helicopter while landing at Ronald Reagan National Airport near Washington, prompting a large search and rescue operation in the nearby Potomac River. There were multiple fatalities. There was no immediate word on the cause of the collision. Late Wednesday, all takeoffs and landings from the airport were halted. The leader of Syria's rebels who overthrew President Bashar al-Assad last month has been named the country's interim president. More from AP correspondent Donna Warder.
Ahmad al-Sharaa once led an Islamist insurgent group that was affiliated with al-Qaeda, but it has denounced its former ties in recent years. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham led the fighting that toppled Assad in December. And al-Sharaa will lead Syria during the country's transitional phase. A spokesman says Syria's constitution, adopted in 2012 under Assad's rule, has been canceled, and that al-Sharaa will have the authority to form a temporary legislative council until a new constitution is drafted. I'm Donna Warder.
U.S. President Donald Trump said Wednesday he will order the Pentagon and Department of Homeland Security to prepare a migrant detention facility at Guantanamo Bay for as many as 30,000 migrants. Reuters' Gabe Singer has more.
We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And That's a tough place to get out of.
The U.S. Naval Base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, already houses a migrant facility separate from the high-security U.S. prison for foreign terrorism suspects. It has been used on occasion for decades, including to hold Haitians and Cubans picked up at sea.
That's Reuters' Gabe Singer, and this is VOA News. U.S.-funded aid programs worldwide have begun firing staff and preparing to shut down their operations as an unprecedented Trump administration freeze on foreign assistance brings their work to a sudden halt. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who initially exempted only emergency food programs and military aid to Israel and Egypt from the aid pause, agreed Tuesday to at least temporarily keep spending money on humanitarian programs that provide life-saving medicine, medical services, food, and shelter. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., President Donald Trump's nominee to serve as the nation's top health official, faced tough questions from senators Wednesday about his views on vaccinations, COVID-19, and the nation's healthcare system. VOA's Catherine Gibson has more on the confirmation proceedings.
I've often disturbed the status quo by asking uncomfortable questions. Well, I'm not going to apologize for that. We have massive health problems in this country that we must face honestly.
A former environmental attorney turned healthcare activist and author, Kennedy received strong support from Senate Republicans considering his nomination to lead the $1.7 trillion government agency that controls healthcare that covers half the nation. But Kennedy faces significant concerns about his past statements about vaccines, reproductive rights, and AIDS. Catherine Gibson, VOA News, Washington.
Democratic Republic of Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi vowed on Wednesday to mount a vigorous coordinated response to reclaim territory seized by M23 rebels who captured the eastern city of Goma earlier in the week. Reuters' Sean Hogan.
In a televised address, Tshisekedi accused Rwanda of backing the M23 insurgency, which he described as a, quote, terrorist enterprise. The president said he had conveyed immediate meetings with government and military officials to assess the situation and plan countermeasures. Earlier on Wednesday, nearly 300 foreign mercenaries hired by the Democratic Republic of Congo government surrendered to the rebel group to bolster this underpaid and disorganized army, but with limited coordination made the conflict worse, according to a group which maps unrest in eastern Congo.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has inspected a facility that produces nuclear material and called for bolstering the country's nuclear capability, according to state media. The visit comes as North Korea ramps up pressure on the Kim's move suggests a continued emphasis on an expansion of North Korea's nuclear arsenal, though Trump has said he's willing to talk to Kim again to revive diplomacy. That wraps up this update, but the world and news never stop. For additional updates, visit our website, voanews.com. I'm Tommy McNeil, VOA News.
What's the current monthly income of a governor and members of the board? Question.
So, currently, the salary is $10,000 gross. And I am entitled to, I think, $7,000.
No, you acting governor, don't think now. You already there.
Yes. But this is it. Since I was appointed acting governor on August 1, I have not attempted taking the salary, the benefits, neither have I moved.
No, that's not my question.
So after your money,
you want to pro bono fund. You want to pro bono fund. What is the salary structure? The income, monthly income structure.
That's what I was saying. The salary, that's the gross, and a cash allowance of $7,800.
What's the current monthly income of a governor and members of the board? Question.
So, currently, the salary is $10,000 gross. And I am entitled to, I think, $7,000.
No, you acting governor, don't think now. You already there.
Yes. But this is it. Since I was appointed acting governor on August 1, I have not attempted taking the salary, the benefits, neither have I moved.
No, that's not my question.
So after your money,
you want to pro bono fund. You want to pro bono fund. What is the salary structure? The income, monthly income structure.
That's what I was saying. The salary, that's the gross, and a cash allowance of $7,800 gross.
Welcome back to the program Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We are here Monday to Thursday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Subsequently, we're going to extend it to Friday. I have to let you know about that, which is very important because you are part of us, and that's why it's because of you we are here. Earlier, I told you that I was going to be having a conversation with a man who has dedicated his time to advocating for privileges for Liberians or the rights of Liberians in the United States. He said the relationship Liberia and America has is not supposed to be cosmetic as it seems to some people. Liberians should have lots of privileges, lots of opportunities with the United States. Unfortunately, that isn't happening. Now, coupled with this recent pronouncement from the U.S. president that about 1,000 plus Liberians are they risk deportation, like other nationalities, like Mexican. In Mexico, there are about 252,000 Mexicans that risk deportation from the United States. That's very huge. Liberia But this man, who is the founder of the Universal Human Rights International, UHRR, and the Free Liberia movement, he has set up an anti-deportation hotline. He's against deportation of Liberians to an extent that an anti-deportation hotline had been set up. Is he trying to prevent or fight against Trump's decision that this particular thing is not going to work? Well, let's see how that goes. By the way, we have right now on the line, I think from Massachusetts or somewhere else, he's going to tell us which state he's speaking to us from the U.S., Reverend Tolly Kra. Reverend Kra is on the line. He joins us now. Michael Bayo and I will do this interview jointly. Michael is the producer of the program and subsequent co-host of my edition of my section of the program, because there are two hosts of the show. So this Friday and Thursday and Friday are going to be for Julius, and I'm going to be here Monday and Wednesday. Let's welcome Reverend Tolly Kra. Reverend, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Yeah, that's good.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well, and I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share this morning.
It's always a pleasure having a conversation with you, most especially at this crucial time of our country's history, when our, should I say, our paternal friends or maternal friends or historical friends or historical partners, whatever with terminology somebody may want to put it, but Liberia and America has a long-lasting history, more than many countries around the world. Waking up to the news that 1,000 plus of our citizens going to be deported because of improper documents is heart aching. But first, which state are you speaking to us from the U.S.?
I'm calling you from the warm heart of Boston, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the American dream.
And how well are you living that dream?
Oh, well, you know, I have to give glory to God in the highest, because I'm living the dream. I mean, I live here now for the past 34 years, 35 years or so, and I've been committed to one thing and one thing only, not looking for education or job or business opportunity, but justice, liberty, and justice for all Liberians. That's what I've been doing. God has blessed me a lot. The house I'm living in right now is something that I want. I don't know anybody who wants a house in Boston. The car that I drive is something that I want. I don't know anyone that want a brand new house and a brand new car. And so God.
When you say want, what do you mean? Did you play a raffle?
It was something like a raffle, because I went to a dinner and there were about 250 people attending the dinner, and they said, we have a surprise. Everybody who comes in will be given a ticket, and we have a surprise in the dinner. And at that end, I was very fortunate to have been selected to win a brand new car. I think I shared that with you before. But
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Time in the future. Yes.
Okay, so tell us about the Universal Human Rights International before we get into the core of our discussion. The Universal Human Rights International and Free Liberia movement. What are they about?
You know, when I first came to the United States in 1982 to study computers, and then I went back home and started my own company called High Tech Applications. We won contract with the U.S. government, serving American government agencies in Africa, Middle East, and Europe. And while doing that work, it was a very lucrative job. But while doing that work, I noticed that there was discrimination against Liberians. I sent engineers to the United States to study, to take training from Sudan, sitting in Monrovia, using my letterhead. They were giving visa. From Senegal, they were giving visa. But when I sent two engineers from the University of Liberia to the United States, they were denied visa. So I saw an experience in the 80s that Liberians were denied visas. But during the war, that's when I really found out that the United States was not committed to human rights, because I was working at the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia, and they were denying Liberian left and right during the war. And then I noticed and discovered from the embassy that they actually had a document that told them not to give visa to Liberians. Instead of making an announcement about that, they allow these people to risk their life, come to the embassy, and put them through a fake interview and then deny them. That's when the Universal Human Rights was born, right there in Monrovia. The job I could not continue with the job anymore because of the discrimination.
So you resigned. You resigned your job from the U.S. Embassy that I believe you were being paid good money just to advocate for Liberians.
The last check I got was $60,000, and I can send that to you for you to take a look at it. But I had to make a decision not to look for money, but rather human rights. And so I was able to come back to the United States. It's been one miracle after another. One miracle after another. Had it been up to the United States government, I wasn't even going to be able to make it to the United States. But God Almighty is in control. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. God brought me to America not to work or go to school this second time around, but to be dedicated to this liberty and justice for the people of Liberia. All of them were created in the image of God, and they cannot and should not be discriminated against. But that's what the United States government has done for 200 years. And by the grace of God, that is going to be over very soon.
What comfort has this brought for you personally, and how has it impacted Liberians residing in America, given that you abandoned you had to leave your job? That imagine your last paycheck was 60,000 United States dollars. You left all of that to advocate for Liberians.
The impact has been enormous. I thank God that I was able to come here, and the first thing we started to do was refugee resettlement, because the United States State Department has sent a letter to Liberia: do not allow any of these people, these black people, to come to the United States. They were open to getting visas to Indians, to Lebanese, but not a single Liberian at the time when I was at the U.S. Embassy. Fast forward, God was able to intervene. I came to the United States with the help of people in Congress like the late Senator Kennedy. The refugee resettlement was started for Liberians and other countries. And we had advocacy. I was on BBC, Voice of America. We went to Nigeria, Ghana, all the way from Nigeria, all the way to Senegal, reaching out to Liberian people in those different refugee situations. But at the end of the day, Liberians were allowed to come here. And then those who didn't have work permit that were already stranded, we had to fight for temporary protected status for them. Eventually, a bill called the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act was signed by Donald Trump, first term. And that allowed a lot of Liberians to get green card. Unfortunately, that fairness bill was unfair because it excluded a whole lot of people from Liberia. And so today, as I speak to you, we have a lawsuit in federal court in Boston against the Biden administration. The lawsuit was filed against the Biden administration. So even before Trump came, this issue of discrimination against Liberians, denial of opportunities for Liberians, you have over 500 indigenous Native American nations have free access to America. You have people from Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, born in these places. When they go to America, they don't have a visa. You got people from 42 countries around the world with a total population of over 1 billion people. 42 countries have visa waiver to the United States, but all Liberians trying to get to the United States are denied visa up to 78.19%. Nigeria was the largest visa overstay country. In November, it was overtaken by Ghana. Yet Nigeria, with the largest visa overstay violation, has 29% rejection, and Liberia has 78.19%. Liberians have been cheated from the very beginning up until now, and that discrimination and unfair treatment has to stop.
But it doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon, because, and I'm even wondering now whether your message has been resonating with the powers that be of the United States of America, given the latest decision taken by President Trump that about 1,000 563 Liberians risk deportation. How do you intend to stop that from happening through the hotline, the anti-deportation hotline that you have set up? I don't know how is that going to work and so on. But drive us through this the initiative that you've set up.
I want to thank God.
Okay.
I want to thank God for Massachusetts Representative Honorable Benjamin Swan. Honorable Benjamin Swan, he's now retired from Massachusetts, was the first person that told me Liberia was the first colony created by the government of the United States. And I was with him at the U.S. Embassy when he met with Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield to talk about opportunities for Liberians. Unfortunately, the reason for the delay has been twofold. Number one, Liberians do not believe in God. They do not believe that God is able to redeem people even today. People go to church, pastors go to church and talk about how God redeemed people in Egypt during slavery. But they do not believe at all that God is able to do it today in the church as well as in the mosque. And so there have been very few people that have been attracted to our message. Even politicians in Liberia, when Representative Swan came to Liberia, he met the Speaker of the House. He met the President of the Pro Tem of the Senate. But people did not take that to heart at all. Today, we have a situation where you're talking about the hotline that we've set up. That hotline is for information purposes, to give information to people. We are also publishing a book that has the information about the rights and privileges of all Liberians in Liberia, as well as those that are here in the United States. So what do you do when ICE official comes to you to try to deport you? We have filed a lawsuit against the Biden administration. Now it's going to be the Trump administration. And that lawsuit is seeking an emergency injunction, injunctive relief for Liberians. Liberia has suffering from ongoing harm for almost 200 years. And that includes the visa refusal that earns millions of dollars for the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia. All the top politicians in Liberia have, most of the top politicians, both opposition and ruling party politicians in Liberia have American passport. I myself, I have American passport and Liberian passport, dual citizenship. But it doesn't impact the people on the street who vote for these politicians. Something has to give. And thank God we have, this matter is coming before the judge, a federal judge. The federal judge can make decisions even if the government says they want to deport.
Which matter is going? Sorry, Reverend Kura. Which matter is going before the judge? The matter concerning the president's decision to deport about 1,000 plus Liberians. You going to take it to the court?
No, the case is not about the 1,000 because it was filed before Trump was even inaugurated. This case was filed on the 17th of January 2025, and this case is about what's happening in Monrovia on Benson Street. People go to get visa. They tell them, we're giving you interview. That whole process of interview is flawed. It's like a scam. It's not an interview at all. But they take the money and they don't refund the money to the people. That's one of the reasons why this case was brought forward. The second reason is we have a bill called the Fairness Act, and people who were in the United States from Liberia that were refugees from the war in Liberia, were, before Trump was elected, were excluded from the bill that Trump signed. And so that's a violation of equal protection of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. And then the third thing that we needed an injunction for was in Monrovia, Liberia, and across the country. Right now, we had a funeral in Nima County whereby Senator Johnson was buried, and there's going to be an election by-election conducted by the Election Commission. The Election Commission's laws are not free and fair. And so we are also putting an injunction on that particular thing that's going to happen in Nima County. It's going to begin in Nima County, the liberation of Liberia, to have free and fair election. But we're not going to continue to have a situation where you charge people $2,500, $750, and you say it's free. Free is free, $0. And that's what we need to have in Liberia. So those three things, the visa refusal in Monrovia, the exclusion of Liberians for the green card in the United States, and the system of the electoral process in Liberia that is not free and not fair, that bring people to corrupt into government. Those things have to be stopped.
So thank you, Pastor. My name is Michael. Are you accusing the American government of corrupting Liberians in the name of obtaining visa?
We are claiming that the United States government has been unfair. They have violated American laws and Liberian laws in not having a fair process for visa. That's what I'm saying. We have evidence that we filed in court. I can give you two examples. Number one, there's a woman that has gotten a visa from the U.S. Embassy and traveled to the United States a couple of times because her daughter was in the army. Her daughter died here in Massachusetts. She tried to come and apply for visa. She was refused the first time. She was refused the second time. That was totally unfair. If she came and went back, why is she being denied now? There's another gentleman whose father lived in America, passed away, and left some money out in hundreds or thousands of dollars for him. Since 2021, he's been coming. Every time he goes to the embassy, he gives the reason why he wants to come. They take his money and ask him questions and say he failed the interview. He didn't fail any interview. That process at the U.S. Embassy is completely unlawful and unfair. And that's what we are talking about.
Well, doing a follow-up to the question my colleague asked, so how do we get all these monies back? Because the thing is, when corruption is noticed in any transaction, I think the person that feels cheated should seek remedy with the law. How do you intend to ensure through your Universal Human Rights International to ensure that Liberians get back all these monies that have been taken away from them for visas and so on?
So if you go to Facebook and type the Free Liberia Movement, you're going to see it. If you go on the internet and type the Free Liberia Movement, that's free, FREELIBERIA.org, you're going to see it. What we are saying is that the money have to be refunded because it was taken unfairly. Liberians are not supposed to have visas coming to the United States at all because Liberia is a jurisdiction of the government of the United States. It was purchased using American taxes. It was purchased because of a law passed by the United States Congress.
What was purchased? Liberia was purchased?
Yes.
Purchased by whom?
Well, let me tell you, Liberia was not envisioned, designed, and created by black people or Liberians. It was envisioned, designed, and created by slave masters from the United States who never freed any human being all the days of their life.
So nobody was here occupying the land when the slave masters came?
No, I didn't say nobody was here occupying the land. There were people that purchased the land from that they got. They expanded it unlawfully, but they purchased Providence Island and parts of Cape Monserrato from King Zoda and King Long Peter. So we have the document. It didn't just come and sit there. They purchased it using U.S. taxpayers' money. It was purchased by a United States Navy officer on behalf of President James Monroe, and they signed a treaty. That treaty said these people, King Zola, King Long Peter, will relinquish this land forever to be used as a place for settlement of citizens of the United States of America. It's written in black and white. But what we've been told for 200 years is that James Monroe was a philanthropist. American Colonization Society was a non-profit organization that created Liberia. That is completely false.
Okay. So, Pastor, before we transition, there's a very strong advocacy, and it takes a guy or even a team to succeed in this advocacy. How long are you willing to go on with the advocacy? And is there any partnering group that you guys are partnering with in order to push this advocacy to become a successful one?
So in Liberia, people believe, as I said earlier, people don't believe in God in Liberia. This advocacy is not been sustained by money or any particular group. When Moses went to Pharaoh to say, let my people go, it was not a group. It was God Almighty sitting in heaven, looking down and seeing how people were tortured, how people were enslaved, and saying, I have seen the suffering of my people. I have come down to deliver them. This is exactly the similar situation. Today, we don't have the Liberian government supporting us. When President Boakai came to Rhode Island, we handed him a letter about what we were doing for Liberian people. That letter has not been responded to at all since he left from America. And we have letters from Clinton. President Bill Clinton was able to reply letters. We have letters from Congress. We have letters from a lot of places. But the Liberian government has not seen it fit to join us. I want to give a caveat. Senator Glebo Brown from Maryland County and Senator Nyan Twayen from Nima County. These two senators, we met them in July, as well as we met the U.S. Embassy as well. And these two senators gave their support. But the Liberian government has not been interested in that equal protection or equal opportunities for all Liberians. But at the same time, a lot of these top Liberian government officials have American passport and Liberian passport, dual citizenship. So it's not fair.
So let's now talk about this issue of planned deportation of Liberians, talking about 1,563 persons. But before going into it, I want to be specific and ask you this question. How long did it take you to regularize your status in America?
It took me a little while because of my career. I did not really want to live in America at all. Like I said, I came here in 1982, and then I went back and set up my computer company in Liberia that I was able to get an international contract. So coming to America to live was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to just help people. So it took me a long time before I could, I think up to 2006. So I came in 1990, but I did not regularize my stay until 2006. It was because of a judge in Boston. I saw an article on the front page of the Boston Globe that invited me to his office and said, "What's your status?" I said, "Well, I don't have a status. I don't have green card." And he said, "You're working for these people. You got to make sure you get a status. Go and make sure you regularize your status now." And George Red, was the one that caused me to go to the Greater Boston Legal Services. And then nobody believed that I didn't even have status, because every day I was on radio, I was on television advocating for Liberians. And then Deborah Anker, who's a professor at Harvard Law School, became my lawyer. And that's how I was able to regularize my status. It took a long time.
So today, about 1,000 plus Liberians risk deportation. And your group is against this kind of treatment of Liberians. You believe that according to the 1824 Constitution of Liberia, every born Liberian is a citizen of the United States. Maybe you have to rephrase it, or if I wrongly quote it. What sort of engagement does your organization intend to do in ensuring that those Liberians whose stay in America is threatened is now taken care of?
So, like I said, prevention is better than cure. What we are doing is not actually going to try to stop the deportation of 1,500 Liberians. What we are doing today started on the 28th of November 1990 with a letter that I wrote from the U.S. Embassy to President George Bush, to the Congress, and to the Chief Justice and Justices of the Supreme Court, that the way Liberians have been treated is completely unfair and has to change. And that's when I parted ways with the computer company I was working with at that time. So what we are doing right now is, the case we put in court was not specifically about this 1,500 people that have been deported by President Trump. Rather, it was about that woman in Liberia. Those people in Liberia that they take them right now, as I speak to you, people going to the embassy for visa right now, and they already know many more will get 3 visas today, no matter if 200 people show up. That system is unfair. That's the system we are fighting. And once we are successful in getting an injunctive relief from a federal judge, this week or next week, those people who are those 1,500 people will be beneficiaries. But we are fighting not just for them, but for the entire population of Liberia. Those scientists at West Point that were born in West Point that will live and die without achieving their God-given potential. Those people in slavery, those are the people we are fighting for. All Liberians, not just a particular 1,500 people. But when we succeed, when the judge issues the injunctive relief, it's going to impact the lives of these 1,500 people, but it's going to impact the lives of all persons born in Liberia.
So how difficult is it now from 2006 up to now? How difficult it is for one to obtain legal document?
So the difficulty is there hasn't been change in the immigration law at all. The reason why you see 1,500 people that are not, that don't have regularized status, number one, is because of the Liberia Refugee Immigration Fairness Act, which was unfair. If Liberians were treated like the way Ukrainians were treated, the Ukrainians had a war and came here 3 years ago. All of them have been protected. That was not the case with Liberians at all, even after the law was passed. And as I said, we have to push through a law through Congress that said all Liberians, is called the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act. But it excluded people who've been living in the country before President Trump was even elected, just because we're Black and we're Liberians. This racism business has gone on too long, and it has to really stop. It's unfair for Liberian people.
Are you saying
it's unfair for Africans? We have 42 countries today in the world with over 1 billion population who get free access to go to America without visa. But there's not a single African nation among the 42 countries. When Liberia is a country where it was an American jurisdiction, purchased by American taxes, with American laws in place, and the Constitution of Liberia, Article 1, approved in Washington, D.C., said all persons born in Liberia are entitled to all privileges enjoyed by citizens of the United States. That law is still enforced in the 1847 Constitution, miscellaneous Article 1, and the 1986 Constitution, Article 95. So you read that and you know Liberians supposed to enjoy these privileges, but only politicians enjoy it. And we are all human beings. We cannot continue to.
Reverend Krua, what hope should Liberians who risk deportation garner from your advocacy?
What hope?
Yeah, what hope? How hopeful should they be?
Well, the problem with them is they don't even believe in God. I'm operating with a belief.
They don't believe in God.
That brought me here.
No, they
don't.
You
without works is dead.
You are constantly using the word believe. What yardstick are you using to describe a Christian of not believing in God?
The Bible says faith without works is dead. This issue of visa waiver, discrimination against Liberians, this is not the first time I've spoken about it. Like I said, in 2023, I brought a white man and a Black man with me to Liberia. We went to the U.S. Embassy to present a petition. How many people showed up? We have about 12 pastors, but not a single person from their congregation, because they didn't believe it was going to be true. Even these people that are going to be deported. Look, I was on Voice of America. I just sent him the clip that you can play. I was on Voice of America talking about this thing in 2023, I believe. 2023, July. It was on Voice of America. But people just say, oh, the man just wasting his time. I don't have time. Time belongs to God. But most of these people have not believed. We have membership right now, which is $2 a month for membership of the Free Liberia Movement. We have announced this. We have articles in the front page newspaper. People hear it, but they say, oh, the man just wasting his time. I don't have time. Time belongs to God. And that's why I say that people do not believe in God. And if you believe, then you take a step of faith.
Well, folks,
so
let's say
what we are doing, whether they believe or not, is going to impact their lives. Those people, those 1,500, by the grace of God, again, when the federal judge issues an injunction, it's going to impact their lives. in America is going to impact the lives in Liberia. It's like you have a cancer that is impacting the person. You attack the cancer. So instead of just going to the person's finger, you make sure you go to the source, the root of the issue. The problem we have is systemic corruption that originated from the United States on March 4th, 1790, when they passed a new law that said only white persons will be allowed to be citizens of the United States. That law was completely codifying racism because America was founded 1776 on the principle we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. Now, when you step forward a few years later and say only white people will be citizens, that's the problem we are facing today at the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia. That's the problem we are facing today with 1,500 people from Liberia being deported from the United States. So instead of just focusing on the 1,500 people, we focus on the source of the problem. And once that source is tackled, all Liberians, that ALL Liberians, will be given equal opportunity. It will not just be Cummings alone or opposition politicians alone. It will be all Liberians, God willing. And I believe in God. He's able to do the impossible things.
So before my fires come in, don't you think it's a waste of time of you advocating for a group of people who do not care about the outcome of your advocacy?
It's not a waste of time because, like I said, I don't have time. Time belongs to God, and these people are human beings made in the image of God. They may be in the darkness, they may be ignorant, and they may not have faith, but God used miracles to bring people to believe. If you look in the Bible, from the Bible, you look at Noah building an ark. Only one man. Everybody else didn't want to participate because they didn't believe it was going to rain. You look at Joseph's life in being sold. He was the only one that had the coat of many colors. People were jealous and sold him into slavery. You look at Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego in the fiery furnace. You look at Daniel in the lion's den. He was just one guy. There were thousands of people who came from Jerusalem, but just one guy landed in the lion's den. So miracles happen when somebody believes, and that's how they get impacted.
So let's inform you, members of the public, that we are having a conversation with Reverend Tolly Kura. Reverend Kura is the founder of the Universal Human Rights International and the Free Liberia Movement. He's here giving us some information regarding everything that's going on between Liberia and America. In fact, he said that even the deportation that's going on right now, that should not be the case. Liberians should have more rights in America than many other nationalities. What do you make of the conversation? You can join us live on Sky Communications Liberia Facebook page for your participation. At the same time, you can also follow us on YouTube on Sky Communications, Sky FM and TV Channel 6, and the Liberia Public Radio as well. Reverend Kura is on the line. We're going to open the line shortly to hear from you. But let me ask him one more question before I, involve you, members of the public. Reverend Kura, the pronouncement made by the U.S. President Donald Trump about the deportation of many nationalities, not just Liberia. How did you receive it? Did it occur to you like your voice, your message had not been resonating? Did you feel disappointed when you heard it the first time, or you just, accept it and to live with it because you're a man of faith?
Well, it didn't even move me an inch when I heard Donald Trump is saying, first of all, he's not like a typical politician that will come and lie to you during election time and do something else. What he tells you he's going to do is exactly what he's going to do when he gets there. And so during the campaign, I heard him say, once I get elected, it's going to be mass deportation. I believe in what he was saying. So we kept doing what we could do. Because you see, there's something in America called the federal court and laws that can stop any president depending on what the law says. Some things he has control and power over, but there are other things that they have separation of power, other things that he has no control over, even though he's the president. So it didn't move me at all that he was going to do this, but we kept moving forward with our piece of what we can do so that we can prevent this issue when it happens. And it has happened. The people, a lot of people running up, and the Facebook page, our Facebook page has been opened. Our website is still under construction, but it's still open. People have been registering. There's a young man from Swakoko. He registered $24 and he left from Swakoko. Right now, as I'm speaking, he's in Monrovia. He came to pick up his T-shirt, his ID card, and everything. He said when he was coming, people told him, "My man, you're wasting your time. That thing will not happen." And there's another person from Tapeta. So we have few people, but majority of the people, you go to Benson Street, they're standing online. They don't know that any money more they're going to do with their visa application.
Okay.
They just say, I hope I will get there. So pastors, bishops going.
So
They
finally,
know at the end of the day, they'll be denied visa.
so before we join the public, there is information also that President Trump has suspended some of those NGOs that are assisting some African countries like the UK and other partners that is providing some services, humanitarian services. Or how do you respond to this information, sir?
Yeah, so like I said, the president has some authority, and when he takes decision that is not in line with the authority given to him by the Constitution, people go to court. In America, anybody can go to court. That's one of the problems we have in Liberia. When the government does stuff, people say, that government, that one there, can't do nothing about it, black out there, we are there. That's what people say. But here, people can go to court, and in court, you can challenge them based on the law. And you don't even need to have a law.
Okay, is he there?
I think
you have been injured by somebody who broke the law. You can take it to court, and the judge is going to issue the ruling. And what the judge says is always final, except you take it, you appeal to the appellate courts, and then eventually to the Supreme Court.
Okay, let's engage the public. Reverend Kura, he's Reverend Tolly Kura. Reverend Kura is the founder of the Universal Human Rights International and the Free Liberia Movement. Let's hear you now. You listen to him. Don't panic when you heard about the deportation of some of your countrymen. Call us on those numbers: 0777 777 107, 0777 221 223. The numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias. Let me say good morning to Mr. Tony Kra.
Good morning.
Thank you, Matthias. I listened to Mr. Kra and he spoke very well, and I'm one of the person who always follow him. I think his advocacy is very genuine, and with the Liberian people, we need to encourage him to do more. I have a question for Mr. Kra. What is the requirement for one to obtain a green card in the U.S.?
Okay, what is the requirement? But anyway, he's gonna deal with that. Let's hear from another person. Good morning. Good morning. Are you there? Hello. All right, call us on those numbers: 0777 777 107, 0777 221 223. Good morning. Hello. Okay, that person left the line. Reverend Kura, you want to deal with that question?
Yes. So to get a green card, he wants to know how to get green card.
Right.
There are several ways you can get to get an American citizen. You got to be born in the United States, which is something that President Trump is trying to kick against. It's part of the 14th Amendment. But to get green card in America, there are several ways. Start from the top. If you have a lot of money and you are going to invest a certain amount of money in the economy, you could get green card that way. That's one thing. Another second thing is family. If you're married to an American, you can apply for green card and you can get green card that way. Third, if you are given political asylum and you come to the United States, you can adjust your status from political asylee to green card and then eventually to citizenship. Those, I would say, those are the three main ones. There are others, work visa requirement after a certain time that you can apply, but those are the main three paths to green card and eventually to citizenship of the United States.
Okay, let's move on to other persons on the line. The numbers are 0777 777-107, 077-722-1223 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning. This is a topic or issue in many corners of our country right now. Many folks are discussing this news about the deportation of about 1,000 plus Liberians, and it's really touching the hearts of a lot of people. Some are happy, maybe evil-mindedly happy that because of their wishful thinking that because some of their family members have been in the U.S. for a very long time, they've never bothered checking on them, they've never bothered helping them, so they think that it's now right for that to happen. Others are saying, no, this should not be the case. Trump is overacting. Let's hear from this person. Good morning. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello. What China?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, what is China? What's China? Can I talk to China?
Oh my God. This is interesting. Okay. There's no Diana anywhere around Sky anyway. But call us on the number 077-777-107, 077-221-223. The numbers you can call us on to participate on the program. Hello? 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 Okay. I'm not getting that person. The time is... Hello?
Morning.
Yeah, just walk away from your monitor, sir.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Daniel Maza. I call from AB Toro.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the deportation list. When I saw it, I was shocked. So let me ask the Reverend. So are you trying to... I'm not understanding something here. So all along in the U.S., the people that are about to be deported, so how were they living there? Were they living through scamming from one state to another? Because we got some of our friends that travel there and they are obtaining the green card. So let me know how long, or because they never had the money, it's expensive to get the document to make you a legitimate citizen of that country. That's one of my concerns. And deporting these people, what's the negative impact? I don't understand whether the people are there creating economic trouble for the government, or they are there on government expense. Is it the reason why they are deporting them?
Okay. Those are very good questions. Yes, just deal with those questions. Maybe that will take us to the end of the show. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
So those people that have been deported are not a burden to the government at all. In order for you to get food stamp or government relief or government services, you have to show that you got green card or American citizenship. They don't have those things, so they are not a burden to the government. Why they didn't get green card? Getting green card is not easy. You can't just get green card now. How did they even get here? Most of those people got here through visitors visa. They came on visitors visa, and then they failed to adjust their status. And adjusting the status, once you come on visitor visa, you got to go back to Liberia. But some of them were not able to go back. They remain here. And like I said before, you got to have, millions of dollars to start up a business, or you got to be married to an American citizen, or, these things. That's how people get the green card to do it. And you can't just come and go and say, okay, I want to live here now, so I want to get green card and pay the money for it. Like in Liberia, when you go to Liberia, you can just go and say you want to live here now, and you apply for resident permit. You don't just apply for resident permit. There's criteria. Either you are married to an American citizen, or you want to do an investment, etc. But these people were not, they simply broke the law. It's not that they were a burden to the government. In fact, removing them is going to cause problems, because some of them were working for construction companies, and they can't go to work anymore because they're scared they're going to deport them. So what is the company going to do? They are stuck. Their job cannot go ahead. And so it's like people working on farm, picking the grapes, picking apples, etc. They're not able to show up for work anymore. And how are you going to be able to proceed with that? So President Trump is only trying to follow the law, that people who break the law, he's going to try to deport them. But eventually it's going to I won't say backfire, but it also impact the society where these people live in. Because to live here, these people are working. They're working under the table, but they're working nevertheless. And the services they provide will no longer be provided once they leave.
I don't think Trump is thinking about that, because I even watched one reverend, a lady was praying and she pleaded with Trump to have sympathy or empathy, over some of the people that he's intending to deport. For example, he said she made mention of people working in the homes, cleaning the homes, they do all the jobs. She was really, really passionate about her message. At the end of the day, Trump was interacting with some, Capitol reporters, and she said, "Well, her message was not interesting." So Trump, like you mentioned about, yeah, that's what he said. He said her message was not interesting. Like you talk about the situation, the way he is. He's a forward-thinking man. He's a bold person. He makes a statement the way he sees them. He doesn't mince his words. I think he has made up his mind to go ahead with this deportation thing. Like the Colombian government has already taken her own citizens. I hope that other nations can just be wise enough to clear their citizens from there, and not wait until they are embarrassed and get on the cold plane the army plane where they have to sit in the cold for several hours of flight. But let's wrap up, Reverend Kura. To what end do you intend to take this advocacy?
This is part of my calling, and I'm from way in the bush behind Tapeta. My town does not have electricity or telephones and towers and stuff like that. But by the grace of God, my parents, who were not even educated, sent me to school, and through their sending me to school, I was able to get a scholarship from the Dutch government, and I got a career, and that career landed me in the U.S. Embassy system to be able to discover this thing. That's why I couldn't look at the money, because money is nothing. I had to look at the lives of people that were at risk then and still at risk today because of the unfair dealings of the United States government with people in Liberia because of the color of our skin. We never painted ourselves black. This is a design that came from the Almighty. And if the United States was democratic, if the United States was staying true to it, the blueprint of democracy, which is all men are created equal and are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, we won't be having this problem today. So America needs to return to the blueprint of its founding, of its foundation.
While we are waiting for that moment, what word do you have for Liberians here that are listening to you right now, who some of them, their families risk deportation? In 1 minute, sir, so we can wrap up.
What I have to tell people is, with God, all things are possible. They need to believe in God. What I'm doing, I'm not doing it because of any other reason. God has revealed to me something a long time ago that shall come to pass. And so I'm calling everyone to join the Free Liberia movement. Go online, www.freeliberia.org. It has a place there for mobile money. You can use the mobile money number and become a member. We'll give you your t-shirt, we'll give you ID card, we'll give you a booklet for you to read about your rights. People don't know. I went to school in Liberia, I didn't even know my rights. I didn't even know that Liberia was not funded by the American Colonization Society. I didn't know that James Monroe enslaved people all the days of his life. I didn't know these things. They were hidden from us because the Americans decided to use Liberia as a trap. We were caught in a trap. We are still caught in a trap. We need to be set free. And the only way we can be free is not through politics. People need to, and one thing I just want to quickly add, I want to thank this station for being so professional. There are so many stations in Liberia, like Spoon TV, for example. Every day they talk about corruption, but when you tell them something that's going to benefit all citizens, they don't want you to even appear on their station. I have never had a chance This is not my first time on this station. So I want to thank this station for their professionalism, because when something impacts everybody, this station stands up, not Spoon TV. Spoon TV only talk about corruption, but when you talk about opportunities for Liberian people, they say that thing can't work. So that's the world of
maybe that's your experience with Spoon, but I think they do a lot of initiatives as well. But anyway, thanks for the commendation coming to us. We appreciate you. Continue doing what you're doing. Every time we have the chance, we're going to give you an opportunity, to be heard. I'm going to share the link with you about your appearance. It was nice having you, Reverend Krura.
Well, thank you, and keep up the good work. And let's pray to God. With God Almighty, all things are possible, and this is going to come to pass.
Thank you, sir. And that's all the time we have for today's edition of the program, Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. Like I said to you, gradually I'll be introducing my co-host. He joined me today to do this interview. Subsequently, we're going to sit down and have some real, intellectual engagement, agreeing and disagreeing on issues as time goes on. Yeah, we have 3 days in a week, Monday to Wednesday, and Friday and Thursday and Friday will be for Julius Boki beginning next week. My name is Matthias Labin. I've been here with Mark here. Bio. Have yourselves a wonderful time.